Let me bring it back to Calimesa in practical terms. When I return from a conference like this, it generates a lot of questions that we need to ask ourselves. Are our revenue projections conservative enough? Are we prepared if transportation funding dips slightly? Are we aligned on housing compliance timelines? Are we protecting our reserves at levels appropriate for a smaller city that cannot absorb large revenue shocks easily? Those questions influence how we draft the next budget, how we structure mid-year reviews, how we approach long-term commitments like capital project or staffing expansions, and whether we pace growth deliberately rather than aggressively. One of the most valuable moments in these sessions is hearing someone from another city say, "We assumed that revenue would continue at this pace. It didn't. Here's what happened." It's a cautionary story, and cautionary stories are incredibly useful. They allow us to avoid similar pitfalls. There is also an undercurrent of realism in many conversations. Cities are expected to do more with less. Residents expect high levels of service. Infrastructure ages. Regulations increase. Yet revenue growth is not guaranteed, and in fact, as we have discussed in past episodes, almost never keeps up with inflation. That tension requires disciplined leadership. It requires prioritization. It requires alignment between council and staff, which leads directly into another theme discussed, strategic alignment as a fiscal tool. When a city has clear strategic priorities, budget decisions become easier. Not easy, but easier. If a proposed project aligns strongly with adopted priorities, it carries more weight. If it doesn't, it may need to wait. Strategic discipline is not about limiting ambition. It's about focusing resources where they will have the greatest impact. And that's why these fiscal and policy conversations at the conference connect directly to the strategic planning process we are undertaking in Calimesa right now. Understanding fiscal headwinds and policy trends informs how we set priorities. It informs how ambitious or conservative we should be in setting implementation guidelines. It reinforces why we integrate strategic goals into our budgeting process rather than treating them as separate exercises.